Tanzania Wildlife Management Authority, TAWA, is responsible for biodiversity conservation outside of Tanzania's national parks. TAWA supervises the utilization of wildlife resources, both consumptive and non-consumptive, found in game reserves, game-controlled areas, open areas, and wildlife management areas.
And we have almost 40% of the country protected in one form or the other. More than 80% of that area is under TAWA's direct management, which amounts to more than 230,000 square kilometers, approximately 1/5 of the size of Tanzania. We need to make sure that this area is used profitably, but also improving the livelihoods of local communities, improve the very resource that is there to conserve the wildlife and their habitats. Now we have different forms of wildlife utilization. We have photographic safaris, which is mainly done by Tanzania National Parks, but also we have tourism hunting that is being conducted by TAWA.
Been operating and guiding in Tanzania for the last 26 years. Also born and raised in Tanzania, so that is my backyard and home. I operate currently in western Tanzania in the Moyuwasi Game Reserve, approximately 4,000 square kilometers. So we operate in huge concessions there, very vast and remote.
These areas that are set for hunting are very difficult to access, and the terrain is very hard, which you cannot by any standard set up conventional photographic safaris. These are the perfect ones for hunting.
Our concessions are very good for the cats, lots of buffalo, very good plains game. We probably have one of the last remaining ecosystems for the East African sitatunga in Tanzania. So we're very diligent on making sure that we protect and maintain that ecosystem.
You have the natural endowments, yes, but then you have to have the resources to maintain them. If you do not do hunting in these areas, they will be obsolete, they won't be utilized. It becomes very difficult to run an organization like TAWA, but also it becomes a concern for the government because that's a very long established land use for the country since the early 80s. The revenue that we accrue from this type of tourism is also very important to sustain the local communities. And it employs a lot of staff, most of them amongst these rural communities.
One of our main issues out there is meat poaching with muzzleloaders. We don't really have much of an issue with snares. We do have 2 full-time units of anti-poaching during the on-season and the off-season, 24/7. Conditions are very harsh out there, especially during the off-season when it's raining. We use big 4x4 tractors, Argo, when it's really wet. So we do whatever it takes to get the job done. Since we got the areas, we have seen a huge difference. When we took over, we were probably catching anywhere from 30 to 40 poachers a month for the first couple of months. And now it's gotten down to, somewhere maybe in the region of 5 to 10 during the off season when it really spikes. All of our anti-poaching and conservation is all due to hunter dollars. We do not take any backing from NGOs or grants. The issues that we're obviously going to have this year is going to be travel bans, travel restrictions between countries. A lot of clients are, going to have a difficult year as well due to businesses being closed, getting back up on their feet. If we don't have our full season, that means we're not going to have a lot of funding coming in from our hunts, which means we're going to have less financial backing than what we normally would do to be able to do our anti-poaching. It's very expensive. We'll probably end up having to cut back maybe 1 unit in order to make it work. It takes a toll. I mean, these poachers know when you're not in the area. They take full advantage of it and they come in big groups and the meat poaching really spikes. So we hope we can keep it going and we will do the best that we can.
It's important for the global community at large to understand that tourism, which includes now the revenue accrued from hunting, is like 17.5% of the GDP, 40% of the foreign exchange. Actually, it's number one earner ahead of minerals and even in agriculture. There should be no major contradictions between international policies and national policies to make sure that we are sailing in the same direction.